Let's see. He's a university student, around 20 years old, has a gloomy expression, likes to correct others, speak rudely, and has an even ruder personality.
You started straying from physical characteristics about halfway through.
His height's a little short of 180 centimeters. He's on the thin side with no real defining characteristics.
Is he hot?
Not at all. He's not attractive in the least. Okay, maybe just a little.
Is he or not?
I can't just stand here and mock my friend's taste in men, okay?
Well, I haven't seen him. I haven't run into anyone for a while anyway. Then you should have just said that to begin with.
Where did that guy run off to? Since when did a third woman come into the picture? How is he going to take responsibility if Mihoko ends up not being able to graduate?
The cold winter air pours in from the open window. With the heaters long since shut off, it didn't take long before Music Room 2 was filled with winter's chill. On the other side of the window, I can see the sports clubs that have just finished practice, as well as the scarlet sunset transitioning into a light indigo. And if I look straight down, the rigid pavement that would have left more than just a bruise had I fallen onto it.
Kitahara, what are you doing, you idiot?
That's right. I remember hanging from this very ledge. Looking back at it now, I can't believe how stupid doing all that was. Although, I'm quite sure I thought it was pretty stupid back then as well. But even so, the only thing that was on my mind back then was to find the owner of Music Room 2. She was always here, playing the piano that's right before me now, without anyone bothering her, as if to make fun of my arduous battle in Music Room 1 right beside her. She effortlessly matched her playing to my guitar to guide me.
You're bothering me? So, get lost. Though, even if I tell you that, I have a feeling you won't leave.
No matter how many times I overwrite these memories with new ones, no matter how many times I repeat the words I've already forgotten, as if to cast a spell upon myself, this piano right here, the source of her hatred towards her mother, but also the one thing that bound the two together. Once again, brings out memories from 3 years ago to the present. For someone who doesn't know how to play piano, he's doing a decent job. You sat right here, Kazusa, without even sparing a glance in my direction, joyfully, yet somewhat sullenly. Effortlessly and flawlessly, you played the piano. His skill at piano is about my skill at piano.
Hint number 1. What would be
White Album.
the song that we met by? Toma-san is correct.
And right by my other side, there was Princess Snow White, who broke into song under the grace of her piano. Those days brought me to the greatest heights of happiness and to the deepest depths of sorrow.
There's no way I wouldn't like it. There's no way it wouldn't be fun. There's no way it wouldn't be enjoyable.
Don't tell me you can't even figure that much out without asking.
Stay with me, Haruki-kun, even after we enter university. Even once we're in our second year, and then our third year, and even if we're in different departments. Found you?
What interrupted me before I could sink into my melancholic thoughts was...
You lied to me again? Didn't you? Just how many people are you going out with?
It's you, wearing the same uniform as the girls in my memories, yet with none of the nostalgia attached. Sorry, I'm just an outsider. Yet I'm running around the school as I please.
Yeah? The school is about to close, so we need to lock up?
Yeah, I know. I was a student here until 3 years ago, after all.
Oh.
I'm sure that I'm embarrassed over being caught messing around. But I also think that there's more to my expression. One that suggests that I'm also relieved over being found. Remembering to lock up is pretty impressive. Most people forget all about it.
The upperclassmen in particular, they get more and more careless about stuff like this.
Yeah, not to mention these special classrooms. It really takes an effort to get the guys that don't want to go home to leave.
What are you doing in music room 2? It's not really used by anyone anymore.
I borrowed the key from Sua-sensei. I'll have to return it later.
Then I'll take it to him for you.
Thanks. I could feel that the cold air of the room had affected her from that tiny bit of contact I had with her hand just now. Did you know? The piano here was donated by the famous pianist Toma Yoko. Now that I think of it, whether my feelings for the girl, Sugiura Koharu, are of passion or indifference is something I haven't really thought about until now.
Yeah, it's been making rounds around the school. Toma's Yoko's daughter is one of our alumni, and they say she took first place in a European competition.
Second placed. Close, but not quite. With how I am right now, it wouldn't be unfair for someone to call me cold or heartless. It's about time I head home then. It's gotten pretty dark, so if you like, I could take you to the station.
I have some other matters to attend to. It's fine. I'm always doing things around this hour.
Is that so? My responses come out more naturally than they had the week before. My words unconcerned with formality. And for that reason, her refusal of my courtesy sounds unnaturally natural. And our conversation ended there, as she no longer had any cards left to play. Oh, yeah. I might show up at your workplace again.
If the job calls for it, then I have no right to complain.
Well then, I'll be off.
Alright.
The halls are already pitch black. But right now, I don't really dislike this darkness all that much. Perhaps reliving such memories in the very place they were formed will mitigate the pain that always comes with remembering them, if only slightly.
He got away from me? But why? Why did he look so sad and yet so happy at the same time?
December 8th, Wednesday. This is a lot better than I thought it'd be.
I can't have you looking down on me all the time now, can I?
It's been a week since our last study session. During said week, Izumi managed to compile what she referred to as an old pile of research files she dug up from her place, with her level of progression far exceeding my expectations. I never could have imagined a project like this coming from someone who never even showed up to seminars, much less someone who's a month late on submitting her paper. The interpretations you came up for these Oni folktales are pretty interesting. You even start empathizing with the Oni by the end of it. It initially looked like a generic story about a samurai going to slay a mountain-dwelling Oni that's been attacking humans. But some unexpected developments pop up about halfway through. As it so happens, the samurai is saved by the female Oni. The two fall in love, but she is branded a traitor and executed by her own older sister. This doesn't have the common theme of good triumphs over evil you often see in these stories. Plus, it's also fairly romantic. Is this really a local folktale that's spread around where you're from?
The most popular alternative theory says that the Oni is actually from a clan of hunters in space, and that a spaceship or her spirit is still somewhere on that mountain somewhere.
The very fact that you're calling it an alternative theory suggests that it's not the most popular theory. Though, I guess that's a trivial problem. Well, you didn't not do your research. Maybe. But no, I can't jump to conclusions yet.
Really, Haruki? You really can't accept me if I'm not some lazy and hedonistic grasshopper or something?
No, well, sorry. More importantly, there's the fact that this carefree woman in front of me was capable of putting together something like this 3 years ago. And it makes saying things like, "Time is a cruel mistress," come to mind. No, I really am sorry, Izumi. I apologize again from the bottom of my heart, so please forgive me.
Well, Hosho accepted me because I used to be quite the hard worker. I'm not sure if it was the right decision in their part, though.
You said you lived somewhere in the metropolis, right? Which school did you go to?
Just some public school. Nothing out of the ordinary. If you weren't at least in the top 10, there was no way you could come here to Hosho.
Which means she was actually one of the top students in her class. I've asked you this before, but why were you inducting this far-out research before you even hit university?
Well, basically, I'm someone who's willing to put in an enormous amount of effort into whatever I'm interested in. Geek, I suppose. An otaku, I suppose.
If only you could apply that mentality to your schoolwork.
I'm tired. Haruki, coffee.
I'll make some, so don't just fall over like that. The moment I stood up for a good stretch, Izumi just dropped her upper body onto the bed, just when my impression of her was improving too. You really can't keep a good impression of this woman for very long.
My legs are so numb. I can't handle sitting on my knees. Haruki, let's go buy a new table and some chairs. Wanna go have a look tomorrow?
Don't make such crazy demands of a working student who lives alone with no allowance. You were sitting with your legs spread on the side rather than your knees anyways, Izumi.
For someone living in such a comfy place this close to the station, you're quite the cheapskate, aren't ya?
Being so close to the station means my rent is a nightmare. You think I have the budget to be picking up unnecessary furniture?
Come on. Can't you be a bit more considerate? You're terrible at this hospitality thing, Haruki.
Also, don't just establish yourself as a resident of this household just like that. You're only allowed here until your paper's done, at most.
And you're awful at this friendship thing too? You're totally some kind of massive sadist, Haruki.
This woman just told me, not 1 minute ago, that her legs were numb. And yet, she's making a huge fuss while noisily kicking her feet around my bed right now. Don't throw a tantrum like that at someone else's home. It's unsightly. Especially not with that outfit on. Hey, Izumi.
Huh?
I passed her the instant coffee I just made, and she started gulping it straight down. There are a lot of women around me who like their coffee black. That day you came over last week, there was a girl from the high school waiting at the front gate, remember?
Ah, you mean that girl you only planned a steamy one-night stand with, but who kept pestering you about entering a serious relationship after you had devoured her youthful body?
Or probably thinking of the same person, but I'd appreciate it if you could do something about that preposterous misunderstanding of yours.
Well, what about her?
You told her that we were dating, didn't you?
Didn't you say you didn't want to see her again?
There was a brief pause at the very beginning, but Izumi doesn't seem to be fazed at all. Well, it's not like I ever saw her lose composure in the half year or so I've known her. We just happened to bump into each other somewhere else, and it seems she was carrying a huge misunderstanding about me with her.
Well, did you manage to clear it up? The misunderstanding, I mean.
I had no choice but to clear it up, obviously. The moment I found out you were lying.
I even used what I thought would leave the least amount of loose ends too.
Loose ends. On the other hand, it also means this woman lies without batting an eye. Well, to speak whether she's shown any signs of a conscience within the time I've known her, spanning more than half a year, I'll just stop here.
All my hard work has gone to waste. And all because you're just way too serious all the time, Haruki.
More importantly, she's looking at me with a dumbfounded expression, as if I failed to properly read the mood. Why did you tell her that nonsense? Even though I knew full well that she probably said all that for my sake.
After all, Haruki, you want to get away from women, right? You really can't allow yourself to get too serious. Your aversion towards women goes beyond mere hatred. Is it instinctual?
She did it all for my sake is probably an understatement at this point.
And that's why you're allowing me, someone who others see as a woman, while you alone do not, to stay by your side, Haruki.
This girl.
So, I figured I should live up to your expectations. That's why I simply put that barrier up for you, just so you wouldn't get into any more direct contact with other women, you know, Haruki?
Before I knew it, she's come to understand me.
It's not like I'm upset or even shocked that you don't treat me like a woman, you know? I don't exactly hate our relationship as it is now anyway.
She's already seen through the most disrespectful sense of comfort I have when I'm with her.
Actually, you could even say that I really like our current relationship.
And yet, she's willing to seal up her pride as a woman and any other such feminine emotions for me.
So, don't hesitate to come to me if you need to, Haruki. In exchange, I'll be counting on you for my paper, dinner, and a place to crash.
It's definitely not the simple exchange of services she makes it out to be. She's simply going along with my ulterior motives. I can't recall ever revealing this much about myself. Why does this person know so much about me? Just how much does she actually know? Hey, Izumi,
What is it, Haruki?
if you knew this much, then why
Huh?
did you choose to dress in such a revealing fashion today of all days? I've been able to see them since a while ago, you know?
Is something wrong? Don't tell me you're getting all excited because you saw the bare legs and panties of someone you don't even think of as a girl.
If that's the case, if you know full well how I feel, then why are you messing around with me like this? Don't show your legs to a guy in his house, especially if he's not even your boyfriend. Don't cross your legs like that. How shameless. As soon as she got here today, she turned on the heater and raised the temperature by 5 degrees. And, ignoring the baffled look in my eyes, she proceeded to take off her coat and sweater and started relaxing like she was in her own home, in just a camisole and a miniskirt. She's dressed a little more casually than she really should be in front of a man.
But the way you've been trying to look away from me is just so cute, Haruki. I was just about to flaunt my legs more than I intended to.
Let's not forget two certain objects barely covered by her camisole that are ever slightly bouncing to the rhythm of her laughter. At least put on a sweater or something. I seriously can't even look at you like this. Does she even have a bra on under that? I'm a little scared of the answer, so I won't ask.
You're making such a big deal out of it, but it's just stuff I wear around the house. I can feel comfortable dressing like this precisely because we're friends.
That's just you trying to trick me. I think you should look up the phrase, "A hedge between keeps friendships green."
You really mind it this much? Even though I'm not a woman to you? Haruki, are you bi or something?
I don't even know where to start with you. Well, I had a friend like that. Though, she kept her clothes on in other people's houses, but this was during university. When she went back to her apartment, she just had no problems wandering around naked, regardless of who's there. I personally, if the person doesn't make a big deal out of it, I try not to make a big deal out of it, and I'm a nice ace guy, so it's not like I wanted to have a relationship or anything with her, so I didn't do anything about it. We were friends. She's the smartest woman I know. She has like 3 bachelors. I have a feeling this might be me projecting my memories of my friend from university onto Izumi, or Izumi reminds me of that friend, and so Izumi might be really intelligent, just promiscuous, and nothing really wrong with being promiscuous as long as you get your work done, so. Pictured left at the Hojo High School entrance ceremony, April 2000. Accepted into her mother Yoko's alma mater, Hojo High School. Her extraordinary ability was made clear the moment she entered, participating in a national competition while only in her first year. With overwhelming support from the judges in the final round, she took first place. From then on, the name of the most astounding prodigy since the school's founding quickly spread throughout the nation. I'm getting goosebumps. I imagine that she'd rather scratch her head in irritation or just straight up tear it apart if she saw this. Still, with the info I gathered from my trip to the high school, I can't really write anything that doesn't reek of stealth marketing. I guess I should rein it in a little. Before the interview, I did think I would need to apply a fair amount of editing afterward, but I didn't expect that I would be heading in this direction. No matter who I asked, everyone from the faculty had nothing but praise for her, to the point where I'm almost starting to question my own memories. It's like their memories of how they treated her and the humiliation they put her through was all already washed away from their hearts. I'd go as far as to consider them bullies. It's not like she was always on the receiving end either. But now that I think about it, this'll probably turn out boring. Everyone holds nothing but admiration and praise for Toma, hailing her as an unbelievable prodigy, an unmatched model student, and an elegant and refined lady. It's as if Toma had shed her mortal coil and ascended into an overpowering, heroic being. But, this should do it. The facts might be twisted, but the material gained from the interview remains the same. If this Kazusa that's so fondly remembered by everyone was the real Toma Kazusa, could I, too, transform my feelings into more beautiful memories, I wonder? Healthier ones, like the positive ones I used to have? It'd be great if that were the case, but I can't even bring myself to imagine something like that. Hey, Izumi, isn't the last train about to leave? It's been some time since I last called out to Izumi, who's been quietly revisiting her paper beside me. Usually her complaints start flying after a mere 5 minutes, dragging us back into the battle of lazed character versus tireless lecturing. However, it's now been 30 minutes since either of us even said anything. I've never seen Izumi so focused. I guess my passionate efforts finally rubbed off on this lazy girl. Nah, she's asleep. Well, it's not like I'm supposed to be this enthusiastic when it comes to helping her with her paper, though. Hey, did you hear me, Izumi? Ugh. It seems that I was the only one among the two of us that was actually focused earlier. Izumi! Hey, Izumi! The body of her paper is nearly complete, but was it inappropriate of me to have left her alone and remained mostly uninvolved? If you don't go soon, the train's gonna leave. Wake up already. Seeing how she wouldn't wake up, no matter how many times I shook her shoulders, I move on to packing her documents and whatnot to get her ready to leave. Wasn't until now that I noticed her bag was much bigger than last week. Much too big for regular school purposes, with more than enough space to pack a change of clothes for the night.
So, don't hesitate to come to me if you need to, Haruki. In exchange, I'll be counting on you for my paper, dinner, and a place to crash.
A place to crash. Wait, don't tell me she... Wake up! Wake up already, Izumi! Seeing how just shaking one of her shoulders isn't waking her up, I grab both of her shoulders and start forcibly shaking her.
Ow.
My bad. And as a result, her head ends up crashing down onto the table.
Oh. Jeez, what are you doing?
Thanks to that, she's now menacingly glaring at me, with a faint sparkle in the corner of her eye that I'm sure is a result of her fatigue or simply pain. But now is not the time to be caught up in these trivial details. Hey, this doesn't look good. You're running out of time before the last train leaves.
What time is it?
1 a.m.
The last train left 30 minutes ago?
Right. I was too careless. It seems like I was more caught up in my article than I thought.
Is this really okay?
Yeah, I'll go sleep in the bathtub. And I'll just take a blanket with me.
Well, you're the one at fault here, Haruki. But it's not like I'm angry at you or anything.
If we continue this conversation, I might end up be the one getting angry at you. So, how about we drop it here? As per a democratic vote just now, it's Haruki's fault for forgetting the train schedule and not waking Izumi up in time, party 1, with a grand total of 1 vote. As for the other voter, he didn't see much point in continuing the stupid argument and gave up his voting privilege.
Won't it be cramped in the bathtub? I don't mind you sleeping here.
Where exactly is here? The bed and anywhere else are a billion connotations apart.
Whatever you want?
Good night. Was saying that with the blanket half open while lightly tapping the bed just another one of her jokes?
No need to be like that, Haruki. Poking fun at each other is what friends do, isn't it?
That's what she calls poking fun at me, huh? She's only pretending to understand me, isn't she? Just so she can mess with me like this. If I really started looking at Izumi as a woman, she'd probably just get a big laugh out of it or something. As if I'd lose to you. Having snuggled into this space too cramped for even a single person, the mounting fatigue slowly but surely blurs out my vision.
Huh?
I'm sorry for calling you so late at night.
Who is this? Sorry, I'm still a little drowsy. Wrong number? Just be careful from now on, okay?
No, that's not it. There's no way I could mix up this number.
Then, who are you? Jeez, stop beating around the bush.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry for calling this late.
What time is it?
3 o'clock. The same time as last week.
Huh? What's that?
No, nothing at all. I'm sorry for waking you up. Well then, good night.
Sure. Good night.
Good night.
Back to sleep.
December 9th, Thursday.
Hey, Haruki, wake up. Open up. Let me take a shower.
An unfamiliar ceiling, an unfamiliar voice. and an unfamiliar sleeping position. Being rushed by a seemingly desperate but somehow carefree voice, I slowly lift my body up. The hand I was using for support slipped, and it took a short while before a dull pain began to throb in the back of my head.
Wow, that was a loud noise. Are you awake, Haruki?
Rather than, "Are you awake?" Shouldn't you have asked, "Are you okay?" instead? Even if it's only out of courtesy. Oh yeah. My hospitality to Izumi, who's only a friend, didn't end at just dinner. I also seem to have offered her some other form of accommodation.
You don't have to lock the door. What? You couldn't trust my self-restraint?
Even though it was more likely that I didn't trust myself, it's not like locking the door from the inside would do anything to stop that anyway. Good morning.
But for real, you seriously slept like this last night? Doesn't your body hurt or something?
I only actually fell asleep around the time the sun started peeking its head above the horizon. That aside, the fact that the back of my head's hurting this bad also means I can't really feel the pain anywhere else in my body. What time is it?
Yeah, about 8 o'clock. If you hurry, you might just make it to that first period class you love so much.
Not just the first period. I love all my classes. I guess I'm still half asleep, since I could only manage to answer her in my head.
I'll be borrowing your shower. Oh, and I want 2 slices of toast and my egg over easy. I'm more of a sauce fan, so don't go putting salt and pepper on it, okay?
Don't just assume I'm going to make you breakfast. Do I even have any eggs left?
Stop wasting time and come out already. Well, I won't stop you if you say you want to join me or something.
Well, I'd stop. Don't just start stripping! Even after telling her that wearing nothing but a camisole was enough to drive me crazy, she still...
Your reactions are so funny.
I actually saw it for a split second. You're never staying here again. If you miss the train again next week, you'll be sleeping outside. I'll have that sleeping bag you love so much ready for you. The change of clothes she brought are the long-sleeved shirt and pants that she always wears. Stuff that isn't nearly as revealing.
I just remembered, Haruki. Might need to apologize to you about something, maybe?
If said something is supposed to be a given, don't talk about it as if it's still merely a possibility. There are so many things wrong here. There are so many things wrong that I don't even know what I should get mad at her first for.
You left your cell phone in the room, right, Haruki? Someone called last night, so I answered it.
If you consider something as trivial as that worth apologizing for, then why don't you be a bit more considerate about all the other troubles you've caused?
It was a girl. After hearing my voice, she sounded pretty shaken up. I checked the caller ID this morning, and it was Ogaso. Yukina? I think that was her name.
Yukina. That Yuki is actually read as Setsu for Setsuna.
She called at 3 o'clock, so it might have been some kind of emergency.
3 o'clock? 3 in the morning. So, 3 hours past Wednesday. which means it's the same time as last week.
It might be better if you give her a call about it. Maybe she's caught up in some weird misunderstanding.
No, there's no need. It's fine.
Really? If you want, I could just call her back.
I said there's no need.
Okay.
The possibility never crossed my mind. Our little exchange in the previous week had been a joyful, irreplaceable moment for the both of us. One that we'd managed to share together for the first time after so long. At the very least, that's how I felt about it. Setsuna probably felt the same way. I think. Our words reached each other and managed to shorten the distance between us. So, if I were to be given another chance to contact her, I'm certain that I'd unhesitantly press the accept button if she were to call. If we could just casually continue with that 2-3 more times, then maybe we could find our way back to the path that we strayed from 3 years ago. But we missed that chance. We might have reached the first point, but our second destination happened to disappear out of the blue. That's why this single point that will never be in a line will never be the thing that connects us. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment down below. My opinion on nudity is pretty much if it doesn't bother the other person, it doesn't bother me. It does make me uncomfortable seeing it in media most of the time, because the character doesn't know they're being watched by an audience and probably would object to it if they did. I know the actor has consented to it, but still, the character hasn't. And that's what gives me the initial negative gut reaction to it.